Hello and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and boy, do we have a good one for you tonight. Niema can't be here, unfortunately. Actually, she's not here because we're going to be doing something tomorrow, which is Monday, so stay tuned for that. But tonight, we are joined by the man himself, the occultist, the alchemist, the Batman of the occult world, Mr. Curtis Joseph.
Great to be here, ladies and gents. Yeah,
Now,
Bonnie, she couldn't make it. She wanted to let everybody know that she loves you. She misses everybody. Um, she'll be on again soon, though. She's just going through a process of recovering from lung issues.
yeah, so Curtis beat me to the punch. So Bonnie will pop up when she pops up, but here's to
Mm.
a speedy recovery. But before we jump into things, I just want to say that first, sorry for the delay, guys. Mess happens, but I also want to thank all of you. I'm now using a new laptop and everything is functioning so much better and it's amazing. Like I'm looking at the usage, everything, nothing's overheating. And this is all thanks to you guys who contribute when I do the tarot and stuff like that. I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart enough. And it's freaking awesome. So thank you all so much. I'm able to get some new equipment and the stream should be slightly better and you know it's a bit of growing pains, but it happens. So thank you guys. All right. So Curtis, you ready to jump into this?
I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you.
Oh no. And there's some growing pain issues. All right. What about now? I moved the mic closer.
I mean, it's pretty much the same. I don't know if it's external noise. Hold on one second.
Yep.
Let me help.
All right. So while he's away, I'll just say hello to everyone. Let's see who is here. Oops. I hit the wrong button. So Kitten, Paranormal Witch, Atropa, Stephanie, Alexander, or is it Alexandre? I'm bad with names, forgive me. Noella, the Holy Dragon. Thank you guys for joining and hanging out as usual with Unexplained. We are having some tech issues, but should be dealt with shortly. Um, I have to figure out how to do everything on
Might be
here.
my end. I don't know, buddy.
Uh-oh. Do
But
you have any headphones?
let me see. I do.
Yeah, so try some headphones and that should help. Oh, and hello, Simona. You just popped in. So this is the first stream on the new laptop, and I'm just thanking everyone for making it possible for me to get it, and it's freaking awesome. So thank you guys so much, and we're just trying to get some sound issues fixed so Curtis can hear me okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm assuming you can. If I'm too loud, oh well. You have to deal with it. Although, don't act like you don't like this sexy voice. And we are in spooky season too, guys. So hopefully everyone's ready for a fun.
This should help. Should do the trick.
Yep,
Give me one second, guys.
yep. Hopefully, everyone is ready for a fun Halloween and doing your spells and eating a buttload of candy that we don't need to be eating, but we're going to eat them anyway. Oh, and hello, Miss Sick Bonnie.
Cool. I can hear you now.
All right, there we go. That was the problem. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna jump into this. So I don't know if I shared with you guys, but I may have made a weird deal with Belial, and part of that deal was I give him PR. I I don't know how this came about, but it came about, and I'm doing that. But Curtis, you've had dealings with Belial before, right?
Tons.
Yeah.
I still do to this day. Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
So, what or who is Belial?
Well, according to Christian lore, Belial is the devil. He is father of the worthless ones. But more accurately, Belial is a primordial force that represents the earth plane. He is king of this world. So when Christians are talking about the ruler of this world, it would be King Belial. But he's got many different facets and faces, kind of like a cut diamond that refracts light of knowledge and wisdom in many different ways, depending on how developed you are as a spiritualist or an occultist, you know. He is power. He's a powerhouse, without a doubt.
Yeah, and he, for whatever reason, appears to be everywhere in the occult. A lot of occultists that I speak to, they all mention him at one time or another.
Mm.
And do you know why that is? Is it because this is his domain and you have to go through him for desires? Because, from my perspective, occultists are selfish. And usually people who go to them for work or whatever, it's usually for a selfish manner. And if we're looking at the earth element, it's considered material
Hmm.
gain, financials, um, sex, all that stuff. So, so since those are earth-like qualities, is that why he's so busy in the occult? Why he's called upon so much?
That's one reason. Another reason is people just want to be edgy. You know, I'm going to be honest. A lot of people that talk about Belial really know nothing of him. And that's just the truth. They want to be edgy. They see him through a very limited lens of perception, not understanding the beauty that remains behind that power because he represents liberation. And when we look at the earth and the nature of it, the earth and its material nature, it isn't just earth like stone or dirt. The earth as a planetary sphere is the platform for all of the other elements. So Belial, as a dark force, he represents the potential of manifestation, the potential of creation. And therefore, even as an earth kind of spirit, he still has a lot of that vast intelligence that most people will never come to know. So, in one sense, yeah, because he is Lord of the earth as well as gatekeeper of the abyss, he's going to be busy because he represents everything that is the occult. But also because, in many ways, he is a meta god. He's got many names, many faucets.
Belial can be traced back to Enki. Belial can be traced back to Apollo, Apollyon. He can be traced to the Christian god name Adonai. You know, there's a lot of left hand path magicians that refuse to utilize Christian god names, not understanding that many of the Christian god names are encoded with the knowledge and wisdom of these ancient gods. So he is so much deeper than people really fucking realize. So really what happens is these demons end up being trends. Whatever one specific organization is releasing a book upon or a book about next, it's just the latest trend. And it's rather pathetic, if I were to be honest.
It's cool. Be honest. That's what we want. Um, okay, so let's go to a skeptic side point of view here, and let's say that Belial isn't real. It's somehow a psychological thing. And I'll bring this up too. In my Tell Me About Belial, I mentioned that it's a bit of Belial in all of us. If we're
Mhm.
looking at it from a rebellious standpoint, worthlessness, and all of that. So, is it possible that we could be describing ourselves and it's almost like a group think that creates something, but it's purely psychological.
Yeah, there's people that will take a psychological stance within the occult. And I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but we have to understand the worthless ones. What does that mean? Worthless to those who would rule over us, sure, but we are far from worthless. We are worthless in that we are not working for the man. We find every possible tax loophole in existence. We are anti corporation. We are pro human. We are useless to those who would enslave us. So that rebellious atavism, yeah, that is Belial. That is Belial within us, but it is not rebellion for the sake of rebellion alone. That is foolishness. Belial is not foolish. Belial is knowledge and wisdom. If there were a Satan, Belial would be it. He's the proverbial devil, you know. And within my system of things, he is one part of the totality. There is Lucifer and Belial. And in a spiritual sense, these two halves of one whole that are the one dragon, they represent scientifically the fractal nature of the universe. You know, um, light is refracted. Light cannot be refracted without casting shadow. So all of this is really based on scientific rationale and logic, but the worthless nature of Belial, that's the exoteric name, the exoteric understanding that most people will stop at and not dig any deeper. They won't go any further. You know what I mean? And that's really the occultist's fault because his potential and power goes far above and beyond anything that is written in any fucking grimoire. Period.
Um, Alexander Mark. I'm totally butchering your name, so I'm sorry, but Alexander Marquez, I think, he has a question for you, and he wants to know if. Why is this cutting off? He wants to know if you can talk about Belial as a scorpion and I guess the changes that he brings.
I'm really not licensed to, because of a teacher, someone who's taught me a lot in the past, someone who has guided me. That's all primal craft. I'm not licensed to talk about the scorpion god Belial. You'll have to go to Mark Allen Smith for that.
Okay, so
But yeah,
okay, so
I do apologize, but I keep my vows. You know.
I didn't know that you sometimes had to get permission or be licensed to do that
No,
type
that's primal craft. That's primal craft. I'm not gonna get sued.
of. Okay. So, all right, I'm with you on that. So, yeah, no lawsuits, especially in the states. Everyone's sue happy. Look at somebody wrong, I'm going to sue you. I wish I
Yeah.
was making that up, but no, I
No, yeah,
learned.
no, the like seriously, the scorpion god, like I can talk about Belial all day.
Yeah.
I can talk about Lucifer all day. When I start talking about things that are specific to primal craft and that work, number one, is disrespectful. You know, you've got people that have done that with the goddess Sephirons. I can talk about Babylon, which is one and the same as Sephirons. But once I start digging into Sephirons and that lore that came through Mark's work, I'm stepping on toes that I don't want to step on. These are people that have guided me, helped me through my experience. So why would I disrespect them and their work? You know what I mean? It's not something I would want done to me. So, but yeah, there is a text called the Scorpion God, the Forbidden Wisdom of Belial. Um, Definitely check out that book if you want further information into Belial through that Atlantean current of magic. You'll get plenty of fucking information on it there. I just would not suggest one actually work through that text unless you have done the prerequisite alchemical work.
Okay. Say that book again, because I'm probably going to look at it. What's the name of it one more time?
Scorpion God,
Scorpion God.
the Forbidden Wisdom of Belial. Yeah.
Okay. I will probably pick that up and read through it. Maybe do a review. All right. So you mentioned something that was interesting, and you brought up Lucifer and talking about light cast shadows, and we can't have one without the other. Well,
Right.
can we though? Because if we
Hmm.
look at space is mostly dark. So, you know, well, that's a different discussion. But we'll keep it to Earth. We need both. You need light, you need dark. Light casts shadows. Darkness comes from light. It's not a good versus evil thing, which some people like to do. Like, oh, dark, it's bad, evil, light, good. Like, it's not that. But it is a completion. It creates a whole. And is it possible, like just from a text perspective, lore perspective, is it possible that Belial corrupted Lucifer? Because the lore says that some lore, not all of it, some lore states that Belial was the one who whispered in Lucifer's ear to rebel against God, and then of course the war with heaven happened, and everyone knows that story. Do you think that it's a possibility that something like that occurred? That this being whispered into the ear of another being to get him to see things differently and create the Lucifer or the persona of Lucifer that we know now?
No, honestly not. Um, Absolute light, absolute darkness will undo themselves through that absolution. They are equally blinding. But Lucifer has nothing to do with Christianity. Belial Has nothing to do with Christianity. Honestly, Lucifer is far older than Christianity. The name Lucifer was not even in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen, until it was translated into Latin. Lucifer predates Christianity, according to witch lore and pagan lore. He is the consort to the pagan goddess of the hunt, Diana, who is the moon. He's not an infernal king. He's not the ruler of the underworld. He is the bringer of light. If there is a ruler of the underworld, it would be Belial. But these forces, Lucifer and Belial, are oftentimes one and the same. There have been instances where I have evoked them, and literally mid-sentence, the manifestations will shift. This is not just something that I have experienced. This is something that other occultists, such as Mark Allen Smith, have experienced. It's not unique. These forces are not out to corrupt each other at all. We are the corrupt ones. We can go back to, and here's the thing. We can look at The Garden of Pomegranates by Israel Regardie. There is one sentence that everybody misses. And in this one sentence, he states essentially that the mysteries of the tree of life were taught to the highest spirits in the heavens. And that their law that they broke was to teach it to us. He's talking about the watchers. But us was actually them incarnate. That means we are the fallen ones. That means we are in hell. We are the corrupted ones. Belial is not corrupt. Belial does not seek to corrupt us. Belial is one of those primordial forces that flow through the dragon lines of this earth that will wipe humanity out. Belial is that force that's trying to tell mankind, you've got something coming. You've got what you got coming for you. You better change. We are corrupt. We choose corruption. Belial didn't corrupt Lucifer. These are divine potentials. They are the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. They aren't shifty. They don't be set tripping. You know, they don't wear red rags on the fucking west side and put on a blue rag when they're going to the east side. Human beings are like this. Human beings stab each other in the back. Human beings corrupt each other. There is no evil in this world that will supersede that which exists in the hearts and the minds of mankind. There is no dark God that is as wicked as we are. Look around, ladies and gentlemen. We can blame Belial all we want. We're either part of the problem or we are part of the solution. You know.
Yeah, no, you have an interesting point because we do a lot of killing in the name of God, but I will
Yeah.
also say the opposite is true. We don't give ourselves enough credit, and we tend to give that credit to God instead of ourselves. And it could be a bit controversial with what I'm saying, but someone is
Yeah.
choking on a bone or whatever, and another person gets up and they give them the Heimlich maneuver, and they're like, "Oh, thank God you were here," and like say, it's like, well, thank this person. He's the one who did the actions and everything. Maybe it was a weird thing of fate that he was there. Maybe, if you believe in fate. But why is it that when it comes to giving credit to ourselves, we can't do it. It seems like we can't do it, and we pass the buck on to a deity of some sort.
Well, I think it's social engineering. It has to do with the fact that everyone wants to be humble. But it's also because if people are wrong, well, it's not my fault, you know, especially when it comes to the occult. But we have good intentions by saying, you know, praise God. Thank you, Jesus. I was there to save this woman. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, why really analyze it? Allow the person to say what the fuck they want. At the end of the day, a life was saved. The circumstances were right for that person to be okay, and that is God. That is divinity. See, and this goes back to the ancient Eastern traditions, the Kundalini, the breath of the dragon. Divinity is not Shiva, it's not Shakti, it's the dance between them. The truth is found somewhere in between yourself and the mirror that you're gazing at. You know what I mean? It's the relationship that is divinity. There's many philosophers out there that will say that we are manifestations that come forth because God is trying to understand himself. So how we relate to people in this world, the actions we take, the words we use, we have to think very fucking carefully about the things that we say. You know what I mean? If the first thing you do is you wake up and you start motherfucking somebody because of everything that's fucking wrong in your life, you got bad relating issues. You can't expect anybody to fucking respond well to that. But if you're always doing things for somebody and you're speaking kind words and you're trying to uplift them and encourage them, you're trying to relate in a way that is conducive to harmony. That harmony is God. That disharmony is the devil. But it has nothing to do with Jesus. It has nothing to do with Yahweh, Lucifer, or Belial. It has everything to do with our own corrupt hearts and minds. So it's humility, in my opinion. It really is. Do we give ourselves enough credit? We do. Because when you say thank God and you understand that you're a part of that divinity, you are giving yourself credit. Why say thank Kurtis that he was there to pull that child out of the burning building, or thank Kurtis for the time when he allowed the homeless man into his house to eat his food and to sleep in his bed? And yeah. Kurtis is a corporation. I didn't ask for that name. What the fuck is a Kurtis? You can't really put me in that kind of box. So it's really deep. It's deep conversation, but we do get lots of fucking credit. And I think humanity needs to fucking humble themselves, because until we do, until we become teachable, we're not going to evolve and learn. And Belial is that teacher that will spank your ass. And that's exactly what humanity needs. I think it was Dracula Untold, where he's in the cage with that vampire. And he tells him, you know, sometimes mankind doesn't need a hero. It needs a fucking monster. I sort of agree.
Yeah,
I
can
agree.
see that. I can definitely see that. And this actually takes me to something else, because I've heard you say it. Actually, I think when I first heard you say this, I might have been on stream with Bonnie, because she saw a figure behind me, like reptilian like or something, and I believe you said, "Oh, that's Belial. Man, you're about to get
Yeah.
messed up," something like that.
Hmm.
And you know, folks who work with them, they do say that things tend to go wrong before they go right. And I'm not entirely sure it's things going wrong. I'm more so seeing it as things you don't need leaving and just getting rid of. But why does it seem like when working with Belial, everything gets intense and hard, like you're being ridden hard?
Ego. He will destroy your ego. I've never had hard times with Belial. I keep hearing about this, and it's really a fad, dude. It started with one mainstream occultist
Mm.
who wanted to write about his 90 days in hell, and that's all anyone wants to talk about anymore. How hard it is working with these infernal forces, and oh my God, the hell that they put them through. Shut up
You could curse
and
on
learn
this.
your lessons. Just learn your lessons. But it's ego. It's those attachments that we are too stubborn to let go of. But once they are gone, we understand that destruction, if you really want to see it like that and whine like a little girl, then it's fertilizer. It's fertilizer, which will cultivate the actual life that you want to live. You know what I mean? It's only as hard as you make it. And one of the things that Belial has taught me is that opposition is opportunity. I look forward to conflict. Flat out. I love it. I am a sadist in many ways. People think that I am fucking insane. They think that I am nuts. But there's something about winning conflict that I love. And that is all Belial. That's all him, because he does not know loss. He doesn't know loss. Victory is all that exists. After we are gone, the flesh of Belial will still remain. You know?
Now, me, I don't like conflict at all. I try to avoid it, but I have noticed that you can't always avoid things. You just can't.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
you have to sometimes just put yourself in that position, whether we want to or not. And you have to speak your mind. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
have to stand up for someone who's weaker.
Yep.
And it's not the end of the world. And
Mm-mm.
when I mention conflict, guys, it doesn't mean throwing your fist or anything like that. it
No.
it
No.
means being in an uncomfortable situation that you definitely don't want to be in, but you're there, you're facing it, and you're handling it, and you're seeing it's not the end of the world. It's you're
Yep.
not dying. It's just uncomfortable, and you come out okay. Now,
Right.
conflict could be different for everyone. For some people, it could be an argument. For another person, it could be leaving their home. If you're
Mm-hmm.
agoraphobic, leaving your home can be the biggest conflict there is, and just stepping foot and doing it. It's like, yes, I did it. Oh my gosh, this was so hard. Some will say Belial have it might be a gas leak or something. It's like, okay, get over your
Right.
fear or die. I
Or
mean, pick
the
one.
house might catch
Yeah.
fire.
So
Yeah, leaving you no choice. That sort of conflict brings forth the expansion of consciousness. It brings forth growth on many different levels. We can say spiritual growth, but at the end of the day, it's very practical. You know what I mean? How many people in this world have the power to inspire others, to change others' lives through their points of view, the knowledge that they have, but they cannot get up and talk to people on a stage, or they cannot get in front of a camera and talk to others. They're going to take all of that inspiration, all of that knowledge, all of that wisdom to the grave. And they are wasting their entire lives because they want to remain comfortable. Conflict is the only way to live. Putting yourself in those situations, that's what Belial will open the doors to. That's what will cause you to actually leave your mark in this world. But you see, to most people, Belial is a means, for some reason, to win at court cases. Even though nowhere in history has Belial been useful at winning court cases, except for one specific modern occult author. That's what he does, according to everyone else these days. No, he's so much deeper than that. Somebody will go to Belial to manifest a fucking motorcycle or a car. No. If that's what you go to these spirits for, I mean, fine. But then what you are is someone who practices magic. You are not an occultist. An occultist is trying to understand that the occulted information, the exoteric and the esoteric, are intimately linked. The occult is like an onion. Belial is like an onion. You remove that first exoteric layer, thinking that that second layer is the esoteric information, but then you find out that there's other layers underneath it. And then you're like, damn, this is all exoteric too. So then you remove that next layer and you get deeper. And you're like, Jesus, is this ever going to end? And the truth is, no, it won't. It never ends. The problem is, mankind, we want to, out of our corrupt nature, we want to not think for ourselves. We don't want to apply ourselves to the great work. And so we will limit ourselves to information that is in somebody else's book. And we'll leave it at that. And call that truth. And it's sad. Because he is so much more. He is not this evil, wicked, demonic, I'm going to bring you to hell on earth kind of motherfucker. He's just not. No. When someone says Lucifer or Belial to me, that's God.
I've had very limited interactions that I know of anyway. It could all be in my head, but for this, we're saying it's not. Very limited interactions with Belial, and so far, it hasn't been anything outrageous. And I won't get into it too deeply, but I will say certain doors have opened. And I will also say that I'm seeing things from a different perspective. Yeah, just more than I was. And it's almost given me not a carefree attitude, but a realization that sometimes things are just outside of your control. So don't give yourself a headache over it. Just keep doing you. Yeah. And that's something that I have struggled with because I like being in control and I like for sure things. I've just always been that way. And now I'm slowly starting to learn. Like, it's okay to have a little bit of a gamble. Nothing is for sure or guaranteed. And it's important we remember that. But yeah, but my little dealings with Belial, they have not been negative. I didn't feel anything negative, even when Bonnie said she saw whatever figures behind me. And, so when I hear other people speak about them, I get a little confused because it's like, huh, maybe it's what we put into it is what we get back. You know, if you expect this fierce demonic entity, then that's what you're going to get because you got to fill in
Yeah.
the blank somewhere. So, do you think
Well,
that's
I mean, yeah, it's very true. It really is. But it also comes down to people just making shit up. Again, I'm just being honest. And there's a lot of occult teachers out here that just make shit up. They make shit up, and it works just enough to get people fucked up. And I loathe and despise them. I won't use the word hate because they're not deserving of such energy, but I will expose it every chance that I get. People make shit up. They're talking shit about shit that they know nothing about. Nothing. And the statement you made just now, I respect way more than half of the shit that I see on Facebook, half of the shit that I see on YouTube. There's too much garbage out there. There's far too much misinformation out there. There's not enough people who have actual qualifications or education out there. Now, not having the qualifications, not having the education is one thing. That's okay. But if you don't have the education, you don't have the qualifications, you can't perform the surgery. You know what I mean? You've got all these people that want to whine on TikTok about, oh, you're just a gatekeeper. Listen, bro. Let me explain something to you. If I go to a hospital right now and I say I want a job as a heart surgeon, do you think I can pull that card? Oh, you're a gatekeeper. I'm going to tell you're going to get canceled and stomp my feet. I hope so. Let me perform heart surgery, motherfucker. Watch what happens. That's what you have going on in the occult these days. It's dangerous. This shit is not a game. This is not fairy tales. The religions that convey the occulted wisdom are fairy tales. They are not literal stories that happen historically. They use metaphors to convey occulted wisdom through subconscious symbols, which are vehicles of scientific information that has the potential to change the fucking world. And when you look at anything that I have written, and I have not written enough, I want to write tons more. But when you look at the shit that I have written next to these other motherfuckers, it's just night and day. And I get so mad. I get so mad because just about everything that I pick up, I'm looking at the same medieval bullshit being repackaged. It is upsetting because forces and potential such as Belial deserve honor. They deserve people that are actually worthy of fucking representing them. And there's very few of them. And then they wonder, these people wonder why Belial will, well, destroy your life. And he can. He can very easily cast me into the abyss. He's done it. But I have respect. And that's what people need when approaching Belial. Most of these people who are telling all of these horror stories on Facebook, it's all about getting attention. It's nonsense. It's fairy tales. Period. Point blank.
you mentioned you were cast into the abyss by Belial. If it's not too personal, can you share what happened?
Well, when I first started working with Belial, it was the late 90s, maybe 2009. Between the late 90s and 2009, when I was ordained high priest of the Coven of the Primal Dawn, I found out that this coven of traditional witchcraft was Luciferian. So I wanted to find out more. I looked deeper into Luciferianism, and that's what got me involved with the Order of Phosphorus and Michael W. Ford. And I started looking into spirit evocation, and it really fascinated me. I had been ordained a high priest. We did a lot of invocation. We did not do conjuration as much. And definitely not in context to ceremonial magic. But I evoked and I evoked and I evoked and I evoked and I evoked for months and got no result. None. Until finally, I remember it. I was living in Amarillo. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. I had the triangle of manifestation. My temple space was in my bedroom. It was in masking tape on the floor. I had used a tape and laid down 1 inch of masking tape around this plate. And I placed his sigil in the center. And I was so irritated. Like, why am I even fucking doing this? I'm not getting any results. I'm wasting my time. I evoke him. And all of a sudden, there's this translucent energy that rises up out of the fucking floor. And it's hard to explain because I knew it towered way above the roof, but it fit in my home. And the communication was instantaneous. It wasn't audible, but he showed me how he had always been there. He showed me the mistake that I had made by stepping out of the circle when I thought that he was not there. And he essentially told me, well, dummy, since you did that, what happened is I latched onto your auric field, stupid. Now we're buddies forever. I'm not going nowhere. And this is where he started to teach me about vibrational contagion and the alchemical effects that occur when we evoke demons, angels, and how it will transmute us and change us. But all of this knowledge and wisdom I started to get, man, it got deep because he started talking about how the paths of the tree, the 22 paths of the tree, if you count the spheres, 32, they are connected to dormant strands of DNA. And I wanted to make a pact with Belial. And I bitched out. Yeah, I bitched out because the work was just too crazy. It was too deep. It was very scientific. And I was starting to realize that this spiritual information, I'd start to look at things online and I'd see that it made sense, and it scared the shit out of me. I understood that this shit was very real. And I wrote all about it in Black Alchemy of Belial, in the Belial Compendium. And that pact was made that year. I did complete it through the formulation of Black Alchemy Tarot and the exploration of the one tree of draconian power. So all of that was made right. But being cast into the abyss, it dealt with, fucking homelessness, not having a fucking pot to piss in, squatting in abandoned buildings, losing relationships, friendships, darkness, everything that a human being needs to feel human, to feel loved, to feel important. I had none of it. Couldn't shower. Couldn't brush my teeth. Couldn't shit without walking 5 blocks to a restaurant. And you better hope one's open so you can wipe your ass. You know what I mean? When I say cast into the abyss, it's where I was. And it all started when I refused that work.
So, it's a lesson here too. Be careful what you ask for. If you seek it out and it comes to you and then you turn it down, it's like, well, then what was the point? You wanted it. I'm giving it to you. Okay, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So fresh to death. The channel is too small for super chats. There are links in the description, but I think I have the alerts and everything off for the podcast. But you don't have to send anything. Just hit the like button and enjoy. That's the best you can do. And
if you have questions, drop them.
Yeah.
We'll answer them.
And Noella has a pretty interesting question. And she wants to know, can a demon hijack a ritual of another deity if it latches on?
No. When you call upon a spirit, you call upon the name. There are external forces that will still, like this moth flying around, flying towards the light. The ritual power raised, it is a beacon. So it will bring forth a lot of other witnesses, as I like to call them. But these witnesses are normally of an elemental nature. They are spirits of the land, spirits of the elements. And those spirits are usually used and compelled by the demon to manifest the result that you want. So, yeah, that's not really, is it possible? I'm sure, but that's not something that you're going to perceive happening on a consistent basis. And like, you might hear people on Facebook talking shit like, oh yeah, I sent this demon to go hijack Curtis Joseph's ritual. No, they didn't. No. So, yeah, there's specific vibrational frequencies that you're summoning. So nothing that is not in complete resonance with that is going to come forth. And the beings that come forth will see to it. Now, if you are a weak, stupid occultist relying on weak, stupid occult teachers, Facebook-made magi, and you don't perform the LBRP, you have no spiritual rank and power, then yeah, that's very likely. It's much more likely to happen, I should say. Not very likely, but it's much more likely to happen.
Okay, noted. She says, oh, okay, not like that, but okay. It is weird, though, because I've said this before. The occult is full of posers. And,
crazy people, yeah.
And actors and magicians, essentially. And, part of it, I think it is to feel powerful and relevant and like, yeah, look at this. But ultimately, I've noticed that the real occultists, they're the ones who are more quiet. They're not trying to amass a following. They'll teach, but they're not trying to amass a giant following. And I've never seen them hawk their stuff like an infomercial or anything like that. I've never, like, even you, Kurt, I've never seen you say, if you want the true power of everything, you've got to get this book right now, and it's on sale for $15.99. I've never seen that. I appreciate that because teaching is free. And if you want to go deeper and if you want to help support, then yes, you can go over here and do it. So
Right. Go to Patreon, join the apprentice course. But here's all of this free, useful information. Use it and better the world. Don't be an asshole and curse everybody just because, oh, they hurt your feel goods. Poor baby. I thought you were an all-powerful magician, dude. And you are mad because your ego is hurt a little bit and you're willing to curse somebody over that. See, this is indicative of the insanity that I get accused of. And I'm sick and tired of being in the same box, which is one of the reasons, me and Malice, when we had that discussion, well, why didn't you call this dude out before? Hold him accountable. That's why I will not stop, because I thought about it and I'm like, hold on, man. Yeah, I helped create this monster because I let it grow into this big mega church, occult, Mickey D's magic institution that is really hurting people.
And interestingly enough, this is your conflict as well. In a weird way.
Yeah.
It is a conflict that you're dealing with, and you already said you like winning, so
I like it.
It's no stopping.
Yeah. Right. And it's really necessary though. We've got to be able to look at this shit and have people take us fucking seriously. I am so sick and tired of being looked at like a joke when my channel has so much fucking useful information and content embedded within it that really people can apply and use to actually enrich their lives and to better this fucking world. But people will pass over it because you've got occult infomercials that promise that for $2,000 and this one ritual that's pre-filmed already before they even do the fucking infomercial. They just send you the video link after you make the payment. You know what I mean? That they're going to fix all your life's problems. Women are going to want to fuck you. You're going to have millions of dollars. You're going to have the Maserati. You're going to have the $300,000 house. All of your enemies are just going to bleed out from the eyes and ears. Poof, all your problems are solved. That's not the nature of this path, though. This path will bring forth trials, tribulations to refine you, to fortify you as something strong. And we've got people out here, god damn, proclaiming victimhood. All of these women who are supposedly Lilith incarnate. Oh, this man hurt my feelings. Go get him, boys. Go somewhere. You're supposed to be a woman of power, but you've got all of these victims. All of these men that their lips start quivering and they start crying on their live streams when I show up to confront them. You know what I mean? Get out of here. I don't want these people around anymore. They don't deserve to be called occultists. It's got to end. Go become a fucking mechanic. Study theology and write books on Christianity. Do anything else. But you're not going to do this without getting called out. You know, Belial is all about this. Exactly what I am and what I do. And I make most people very fucking uncomfortable. And that's the entire point of him.
Okay, so fresh to death, he's saying when it comes to offerings with Belial, what is preferred, or should I ask?
Offerings are pretty much universal. I have a system of doing things. When I'm evoking more angelic forces, I will utilize white copal and dragon's blood as the basis. Infernal spirits, I will utilize black copal and dragon's blood as a basis. Then you find out which herb is associated with the Hebrew letter in the demon's name. This will create a manifestation base that has the exact vibrational frequency of the spirit. This will allow you to build a microcosmic ecosystem. And I know you're thinking this is a lot, but this is science.
All right.
You also have to provide all four elements. If, for instance, you did not contain all four elements, you would not exist. So offering all four elements as energy to manifest your desire is important. So you will want to use a candle color that is aligned with your purpose. You're going to want to offer water. You're going to want to offer, of course, the incense, which I just described. That is the air. The earth could be a gemstone that corresponds to the spirit. Those four ritual elements are the foundation, but then there's the actual offerings, which could be anything from prepared food offerings, liquor, dark liquor for spirits, clear liquor for angels. This represents a physical manifestation of the element of spirit. Flowers, it's a beautiful offering. Things that provide extra energy, beautiful offerings. And when you do this, you are going to start obtaining better results in your evocations. If you don't put forth the effort, they won't put forth the effort to manifest. You know, it's really like any other relationship. You get out of it what you put in. Sometimes you just get sick of putting it in. So you just go your separate ways. That's how the demons are. That's how the angels are. They don't really like dabblers.
So, Fresh to Death says it makes alchemy sense. So he's cool. And this is interesting too, because we'll bring this up. I'm not an occultist. I don't do invoking, evoking, nothing like that. I try not to anyway. Accidents happen,
Yeah, I
people.
know.
But I would say that Belial came to me. I did not come to him. I think he came to me, and I asked what he wanted, just straight out, like, "What do you want?" And he said PR.
Yeah.
And I mean, as crazy as that is, it's like, seriously? That's it? I'm thinking I had to do just some craziness. I'm like, do I need to draw blood? Like, but no, PR.
Mhm.
And I think, um, well, what I'm getting at is it's a difference when they come to you versus you go to them. Would you agree with that, Curtis?
Well, there's a difference. Yeah, there's definitely a difference, but it's also the depth of the work. You know, to meet somebody and say hi, they're not going to ask you for, you know, hey man, can I move into the back room and then pretty much reconstruct it to develop a ritual space? Someone who you just met, they're not going to ask that of you to come into your house and do something like that. You know, somebody that you have built a working relationship over the years, you start doing formal evocations to get more in-depth insight and information, then we're going to start getting a little more refined in regard to what the spirit requires. But it's not really the spirit requiring it. You know, it's really what the spirit needs energy wise to manifest your desire in the world. You know what I mean? Everything in this world is composed of all elements. This is why I teach people in my apprentice course. You've got to provide all elements in your sorcery. Even if the primary element that's being wielded is fire, because it's an aggressive Martian magical rite of baneful attack, you still have to have these other elements there to balance it out so that it lands and hits the mark in an effective way in this physical world. But these days in modern times, when these ancient divine forces are trying to gain a foothold in this world, again, yeah, PR is a huge thing to them. Because everybody in this live chat, everybody that watches this video, every time it is watched, they're going to see the name Belial. They're going to think about the deity or the demon, Belial. And that spark of thought is etheric energy that will strengthen him and allow him to move in this world to create change.
And Noella, this is just for my own curiosity. So she said that she tried contacting a watcher and she got a we for the message as so stated as we. She thought it might have been a double invocation. Out of curiosity, what watcher did you try to contact? I'm just for my own curiosity. I've always had an interest in the Watchers since they were, well, according to Lord, the
I
ones.
think is she talking about my work within Scapegoat, Grimoire of the Forbidden Brothers?
Yeah, well,
because that deals specifically with the Watchers. Yeah, the Watchers and the Forbidden Brothers are they're all intimately linked. I get, I hate sounding like a broken record, guys, but it's just the way it is. They are all scales on the body of the one dragon. Every time you call upon Belial, all 72 demons of the Goetia are there. All the Cliffothic rulers are there as well. Even Lucifer and all of the angelic rulers are there. What you are doing through the evocation process is you are tugging on one specific thread within the fabric of reality, a thread of potential, so that you can communicate with that specific thread of potential within the fabric of reality. Like I said, there are all kinds of witnesses that will come forth. But none of these are against one another, so you're not going to have entities hijacking your ritual. And that's why. Because they're all scales on the body of the one. It doesn't make rational sense. Just like human beings don't make rational sense. Hating each other, killing each other. It's counterproductive. And that's why mankind will suffer the wrath of Belial.
You know what? Something just hit me. Two things. So the first, Noella says it was Barisha Kushu. And when you mention witnesses and watching, because, there is nonsense of this angelic versus demonic war and all that. That's something I never believed in. It didn't make sense to me. Um, but you made me think of court and how when you go to court, if there's an audience, the audience, they may not partake, they're just watching. And some might be there for their own entertainment. Some might be there to learn because they're going to go into the legal field. Some might be waiting for their case to be called, but they're there silently watching the proceedings. And just made me think about that. And that's how I'm probably going to start viewing certain things if someone calls upon a Belial. And if he's not alone, they're watching because, they might have an interest, or it's like, okay, let's see how this is going to be handled or whatever. So it's very interesting. But
that's why they're called watchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're watching. See, what we got to understand, guys, is that all of these potentials, we have to remember the basic hermetics, right? As above, so below. As within, so without. A lot of people want to see the Dracontia or the all-seeing eye as one focal point of perception. But what you need to understand is that all of these demons, angels, watchers, they all see everything because they see through all of our eyes at once. They're within us. And they're also woven within the fabric of reality as potential externally. So you can't hide anything from them. You know what I mean? This is why when some asshat tries to use Beelzebub to curse me, Beelzebub might say, oh, yeah, sure. But then through the eyes of the watchers, he's going to see who's justifiably needs fucked up. And that's why I don't curse. Because I know I always try to do what's right. I don't slander. I don't lie. I drop truth. You know what I mean? I am all about creating, not destroying. I love people as much as I can't stand stupid. I love the potential that people have, at least. And so the watchers, we can kind of put all angels and demons in this category, though they are different. The watchers are a separate class of entities, a separate class of deities. They're just not the same. They're just not. When you read the book of Enoch, when you read Black Alchemy Scapegoat, Grimoire of the Forbidden Brothers, when you read other apocryphal texts, you'll see the watchers talked about completely separate from demons such as Valak, Belial, Furfur, Malphus, on and on and on. Yeah, they're just different.
I'm going to butcher this name. Not the Holy Dragon name, but something else. Anyway, the Holy Dragon wants to know Artemis and Apollon.
Apollyon?
Are they the same as Belial and Nema?
Nema is the Black Earth. She is not the Earth. Nema is Belial's sister. Belial would be Tubal-Cain. Nema, the Queen of the Black Earth, believe it or not, is the wife of Noah. Look it up in the Bible. For all of these left-hand path folks that don't want to accept Christian lore, Nema is the wife of Belial. Artemis, no, not the same. Apollyon, there would be an etymological connection, but Apollyon would be closer to Abaddon. Abaddon, though, like Hades, is not just a demon, but a place. Or Anu and Ki of Acadia, Sumeria. These were not just gods, these were places. For instance, we can look at Enki as dwelling within Absu. Absu was the first consort of the dragon Tiamat. But Absu is also where Enki dwells. So are they one? Are they the same? No, but yes, because they are all scales on the body of the one. I mean, do you really want to put ourselves through this semantic mindfuckery, though? At the end of the day, call upon the one you need. Call upon the one that you're attracted to. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the important thing when it comes to achieving results in ritual. That's going to be what is important in regard to achieving the specific knowledge and wisdom that you want. Hope that makes sense.
We're going to start wrapping up, but before we completely end it, Kurtis, I shared with you a dream about a dragon. and it tripped me out because I mean, it
Yeah, that
just
was your first encounter with Belial.
yeah,
It was
and
after that that we had seen, or Bonnie had seen him behind you. It was days after that.
yeah,
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
and and you shared with me that you had a dream about a
Hmm.
dragon. Well, of course, not at the same time, but
Right.
you informed me of this, and I want to
Hmm.
know. I mean, it's probably impossible to actually answer this, but why does he, or why did he appear as a dragon? For me, a giant black dragon that
Hmm.
on a like. I'll for you guys who don't know, I'll just say it real quick. I had a couple of dreams actually, but the one that stands out the most was me in a weird field playing, and it was sunny. It was a beautiful day, and I just see this army, this giant freaking army, and they were armored up, ready for war, and they were charging in, and they looked similar to samurai, but they were not samurai, and they were all had on black armor, and behind them in this town or something was this giant, huge black dragon. And it was interesting because
Hmm.
the dragon, for me, it wasn't scary. It didn't feel like it was trying to kill anything. It was actually moving over the homes and stuff. It wasn't destructive, but the army was just fierce, and like they would do anything for this thing. And that got me. It's like, okay, but why a dragon?
Well, historically, Belial is the black dragon. He is oftentimes seen as manifesting as a bloated black dragon. I believe maybe it's the Grimorum Verum. But the reason why is because he is a primordial force, and dragons represent something which cannot be named. They cannot be put into a box. Just about all of these spirits, and I tell people this all the time, if I were to invoke, let's say, Sandalphon, the angel, and the queen of the black earth, Nema, within the same triangle of manifestation, what would manifest? I could only describe it as a primordial dragon. It might not look exactly like, a wyvern or a Chinese dragon, but a lot of it will be very Atlantean, Cthulhu, Lovecraftian-esque, because it represents primordial totality. So Belial manifesting in this way, he's manifesting in this way to show you his vast power and the primordial potential that he is, which is far above and beyond any human form that he may take, because he will oftentimes manifest as a slender, hooded man, very thin, very tall, with amber eyes. He's got many different manifestations throughout history, but this draconian shit that you saw in that dream, that was your subconscious mind saying this is the vast power that he has, and those warriors, for some reason I know that what you were seeing was Atlantis. Those warriors can be metaphors for his legions, and familiar spirits which he can bestow unto the magician. So you tapped into that which most people don't even earn through lifetimes of fucking experience. And there's a few students here in the chat that are tapping into that as well. And this is good. And he came to you. This is good. that means there's still hope for humanity. And these are the people that I call my tribe, my kin. Those that see the truth of their power and don't minimize them. Try to be edgelords by just talking shit that ain't true. You know? It's gross. So
Now,
dramatic.
I don't know if I shared. I don't know if I shared this one with you or not, but this was actually the dream where it's like, okay, I think I should contact someone now. Um, and I say it's a dream, but honestly, it's one of those weird, not fully sleep, but then you're kind of sleep. It's that in between stage where they say you're at your most
Mm,
aware. Um, um, Freaking Jorgenmonger, the world serpent. I don't know
mm,
why, but for some reason I was being chased by that thing. And it wasn't, again, it wasn't like it was trying to hurt me or anything. It just wanted to talk. It's that type of thing where it's like, nope, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to run around. And it literally said, are you stupid? I'm the world serpent. You can't get away. And I'm thinking, like, oh no, I'm going to get away. I'm going to outsmart you. And I'm running in a circle around whatever and it's following me, and I think I got it all tangled up and everything, and I'm walking away like and it just appears right in front of me, and I like it's a jump scare like and I hear plainly Belial, and then I was like, okay, I think I better reach out now.
yeah,
That one,
yeah.
that
Yeah,
freaking got
see,
me.
the dragon, when you're encountering these sorts of symbols in your dream, it's very powerful. It definitely means that you've got to start keeping dream journals and look to become lucid in your dream states, because it means the primordial power in the reptilian mind is trying to unleash itself. You see, a lot of people, they want to minimize the reptilian brainstem to things like fight or flight, um, and survival instinct. But the reptilian brainstem actually is the veil between us human beings and our very dormant occult power, you know? And once you tap into that subconscious arena, ladies and gentlemen, you're tapping into the womb of the dragon. You're tapping directly into draconian consciousness. And once you do that, there's just no turning back. You literally start to know your true will, and you start to actually cultivate free will. And free will is not real, according to science. This is what you guys need to understand. Look it up. 99% of everything you say, everything you speak, even everything you think internally is predicated through social engineering. Things that your parents said while you were an infant, things that you were exposed to at the church during Christmas dinners, logos and businesses and colors that are, you're a program. You're not free. You have no free will until you can take control of the subconscious mind, erase all of that programming, and program yourself to be what you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is a good place to end it. Uh, Curtis, do you have anything coming up, or what do you want to plug? What's happening?
Well, actually, right now, guys, I am working on. I always have my own plans in regard to what I want to release, but I'm actually diving headfirst into the sorcery of Draco Cadmon. I'm now close to 20,000 words in. I'm estimating this text is going to be around 80 to 100,000 words. But I am trying to get that fucking done within the next 3 months. Other than that, just come see me on YouTube. Come learn. You know what I mean? Spread the message. Bring your friends. And let's really spread information that actually is going to empower people, man. That's really just my message for humanity. I don't give a shit about what I'm doing. I don't care about my books or my video courses. I just want everybody to have their head right, have their hearts pure, have their minds pure, and seek to help other people, man. Don't tear each other down, you know? Don't bring each other into the fucking mud. This earth is a hellhole as it is, and you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Don't be a part of the problem. That's it. That's my plug.
All right. If you guys want to check out Kurtis, links are in the description. So be sure to check down there, click on them, say hello. And while at
Hell
it,
yeah.
be sure to check out Unexplained Possibilities on social media. So Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. I will eventually learn social media and be more active on it. Eventually. I'm old. Give me a break. Um, but Kurtis, thank you so much for coming on and
You're very
speaking with us
welcome,
about
brother.
Belial. Really appreciate it. And
It's great to be here always, man.
chat, thank you guys for hanging out with us. And with that said, remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.